Yes, we sure can. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of the ZodWriter Show. I'm ZodWriter, and with me, as always, we got that one, Carlos and Johnny Alpha. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
Everything good?
Everything's great.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut got released.
Great. Yeah, the Snyder Cut got released. Yeah, and we got my good buddy André Hutchens is joining us tonight for the first time on the ZodWriter Show. Welcome, great to see you, man.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure,
man. I remember the first time I ever ran into you on anything. I seen you on the Snyder Cut roundtables. And you had so much to say. You had so many good takes and stuff. And I know you're a podcaster yourself. You do a few shows and a few kind of things. Tell us a little bit about that, man. What are you about? What's your thing?
Thanks. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I think it was last year when I was on the Snyder Cut roundtables. That was a lot of fun. I'm as someone who claims to be a fan and like kind of a member of the Release the Snyder Cut group, I'm one of the newest. I know a lot of you guys have been in this movement for much longer than I have. So your street cred within the Snyder Cut movement is like, it's legit. It's legit, right? So I'm just going off of your guys' coattails, but yeah. So I have a movie blog and a podcast called BackseatDirectors. I've been doing it since 2017. We discuss all things movies, and it's a lot of fun. And but ever since the Snyder Cut was announced and it was going to happen, and ever since we've really started to get all the marketing and promotional spots for the Snyder Cut, I have been like consumed with all things Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I am pumped to talk to you guys about that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome stuff. And as Johnny said, Snyder Cut got released yesterday by HBO Max. They released it themselves. Isn't that something? They were so excited that they couldn't wait, that they just had to release it. And people who tuned in to Tom and Jerry got a little sneak preview of the Snyder Cut. Got to see it even before a lot of our good friends who got invites to the virtual premiere for the 15th of March. I don't know how something like that happens if it's not an inside job. And that's just me, because you can't just go in there and switch files and it just happens. Oh, it was just a mistake. It was just an error.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It was the Max Headroom hacker guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was no accident. It was no accident. That's clear.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, like, was it Warner Brothers? I mean, because I have my own theories. I think it was something that Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich really wanted to leak this movie, because I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Carlos? What's your view on this? You think it was an inside job or what?
Well, I'm just surprised that they had the whole movie uploaded like 2 weeks in advance. Like, I know the movie screen locked is already edited, it's already done, but I thought the passing it off to the HBO server technicians and the people that manage the uploads and stuff like that wouldn't happen for another few more days. I'm not entirely sure how the virtual premiere is going to happen on March 15th when people get exclusive, looks into it. I thought it was going to be more like a private live stream kind of thing, not a.
That's what I thought. Kind of like how when Zach did the Man of Steel watch party and then he announced. I kind of thought it was going to be something along those lines. But
yes, was the movie good though? Was it good though? I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to watch it with Zod. Like, what are you guys' feelings on it?
Which movie?
Justice League. I wonder what you think about the movie, Carlos. Yeah, dude.
No, it's just that Zaz said Man of Steel in it. It's like I don't know. It hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, we weren't privy to that. I wasn't trying to watch Tom and Jerry at that time, so I didn't get a chance to see.
I mean,
none of you guys got to see it. Okay, it got leaked, but you guys didn't see it. I got you.
I'll be honest. I saw some things. I'm not going to say anything, but the temptation got me.
So wait. So Carlos, did you go on to HBO Max and click? Did you click on Tom and Jerry, or did you just see something online?
I'm not that wired. I'm not that much of an exclusive kind of guy. I don't have like someone talking in my ear saying it's live. Go. No. I just heard about it, so I'm just like, okay. Well, where do you go when you look for the bottom of the barrel, the kind of the secret behind the corner and stuff like that? And like, oh, Reddit. So
you go to the library.
I go on Reddit and you know I look up DCEU spoiler and spoiler / leaks and funny enough, I found some pics and I found some short clips and you know, I saw things and that's that.
Well, what's funny is the same day. So this was just yesterday.
Yeah.
They dropped that the Dark Side teaser on Twitch, and
I don't know what was up there.
Well, so yeah, and when people started posting that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a leak, because it was all kind of grainy and it didn't look as crisp as the other ones that we've been getting. So it's odd that that Twitch got that like surprise teaser, but it hasn't been released anywhere else. Zach didn't repost it on his Vero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the official Snyder Cut like Twitter account didn't repost it or anything. So yeah, it's kind of how those two things happened yesterday, but one was official apparently and the other one was not.
Yeah, I mean, like the closest thing to a confirmation we got from that is Ray Porter saying that, you know, he spoke with, you know, his higher ups and said, yeah, that's official. So he can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. I mean, it's so awesome, but yeah, you do see the Twitch overlay and some stuff, and it kind of, you know, throws me for a loop.
And it's like you wonder about all these quote unquote leaks, and it's like, why do all these leaks keep happening to the Snyder Cut?
So
that's
true.
what I want to know. If it's like Tom and
Right.
Jerry, it could have been any movie. Why wasn't it Mortal Kombat? Why wasn't it some other movie? Why did it have to be the Snyder Cut? That's what makes me think it was deliberate.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong is coming up on HBO Max this same month. Like, why wasn't that leaked? Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it happened with every major promotion for the Snyder Cut. Happened with the DC Fandom trailer. It happened with the 214 trailer.
Yep.
Now it happened with the actual movie. So it's like it gets you wondering, how can such a giant movie?
Well, allegedly, from what I've been hearing, that the movie's been ripped and it's in the possession of hackers, but it hasn't popped up on any of the websites that I've seen as of yet. So I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe there's honor among pirates and even they won't put this thing up until the 18th, because we're at a point where it's like, you know, everybody's been waiting so long to see this movie, and we're so close. And, you know, Double MJ brings up a good point here. He says, what's up, Zod? At this point, if people still think that WB aren't sabotaging Zack Snyder's Justice League after all the BS that WB has done, then they're either naive or just freaking stupid. Screw WB. Enough is enough. Yeah, well, we know that there's a war going on between WB and Warner Media, all underneath the umbrella of AT&T. And Double MJ continues here, and he says this is also on AT&T for not fixing this, such as taking action against WB and preventing BS like this from happening. I'm so sick and tired of people who suck at their jobs getting paid lots of money. Yeah, it really is an issue where I think WB. I said this yesterday on Twitter. I said I think that it's time for Warner Media to clean out their Warner Brothers closet, because they're getting to the point where, you know, it's just like, you can't keep having this little civil war going on underneath your own umbrella. AT&T needs to step in and needs to say, look, this can't happen. We need to absorb Warner Brothers, and we need to just move on under AT&T Films or Warner Media, whatever they want to do. But I think it's time to absorb Warner Brothers, because they're letting their hatred rule over everything, and it's all being done out of spite. We know this. I mean, and if it wasn't, like Carlos, like you pointed out, if it wasn't continuous, where every single thing, keeps happening to this movie, we wouldn't be feeling the way we are. But it just seems like at every turn, it's something that has to do with the Snyder Cut. What do you think, Andre? Are we headed for a reckoning with Warner Brothers, or do you think they're just going to allow business as usual? What do you think is happening here?
So I saw someone on Twitter today tweet about the leak, and this person, and I'm not going to name any names, but they said, let's not jump to any conspiracy theories. Leaks happen all the time. And in essence, yes, leaks do happen. And the Snyder Cut is not the only movie that has, had leaks occur. But there are too many coincidences with and a history of studio tampering and manipulation of anything Zack Snyder related ever since BVS, that how is it not a conspiracy? Like, on the day that we know that we're going to get the very first official Snyder Cut trailer on Valentine's Day, the same day Warner Brothers drops a new clip of Godzilla versus Kong, why would they do that? Like, so there's too much precedence that's already been set that with the behavior of Warner Brothers Studios and with Zack Snyder, that this is obviously, like, it's obviously tampering. Like, so, but to answer your question though, and then John, I'll let you go. Jason Kilar and what is going to happen in the next month or two post Snyder Cut, I think it's going to tell a lot of what we can expect over the next couple of years. I think really there's going to be some announcements happening pretty soon after the Snyder Cut, if it does well. And I think Jason Kilar will be all over it. We'll hear a lot of stuff from him. That's my anticipation if the Snyder Cut is as successful as we are hoping it will be.
And I feel like the leak just kind of backfired too, because all it did was get people even more hyped up. I mean, the people that actually got a chance to see a little bit of this movie, at least some of the people online who are not necessarily big DC fans, are hyped for the movie now and want to watch the movie. So it's kind of, it's kind of like it's doing the reverse effect. Any kind of publicity that this is getting is only helping the juggernaut. And now, Johnny, you had some things?
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, man, how could it be a conspiracy when this thing was completely predictable and predicted? 2 weeks ago on this very show, we had Prime, Nicotina, and Skywalker all saying that this is exactly what was going to happen to the lead up of the release of the film on HBO Max. I mean, it was a big part of the discussion on this show 2 weeks ago. So the fact that they're going to be like, don't jump to any conspiracy theories when half your camp already knew that this was going to happen and were gearing up for it, I don't see how you can't put those two and two together. And
yeah, I think everyone expected it to happen. I think everyone knew it was highly likely. Yeah.
With the exception of the fact that we didn't know how it was going to happen. We just knew it was going to happen. Now, I thought it was going to be more of like a traditional leak type thing where the movie would just leak to a torrent site and you'd be able to download a lower quality version of it and watch it before it comes out, like all those movies. That's kind of what I was thinking. But for HBO Max to actually drop it themselves, I mean, that in and of that I could not have predicted. And
I know with their newest movie, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, with Tom and Jerry, and it's so funny because it's like they were trolling us with Tom and Jerry this whole time. I mean, did you see all those Zack Snyder like Tom and Jerry posters that are floating around online where it's all, I mean, literally, that's a movie I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see Zack Snyder's Tom and Jerry. That's what I want to see. That looks amazing. Double MJ says, why the hell are Toby and Hamada still employed? They should be gone. No other company would tolerate this type of behavior. professionalism that WB has done, they'd be fired on the spot. Double MJ, I can't disagree with you on that. I mean, this is the thing, if you were working at McDonald's and you were fighting with all your other coworkers at McDonald's, you'd be fired. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're fighting with, they're basically fighting with their other coworkers. They're making it difficult for their other coworkers to be productive. You have Warner Media trying to promote this movie. You have other employees working hard to promote this movie. And then you have Warner Brothers doing everything that they can to either snub it or sabotage it outright. It makes no sense whatsoever, especially when it's all under the same umbrella, which is AT&T. I mean, Andre, do you feel the same way about Walter and Toby? Do you think that they should have been let go a long time ago? I personally, I don't know. I don't see why I don't see why they're still there, to be honest.
I don't know how you can be a Zack Snyder fan and be happy that Toby Emmerich is still employed at Warner Brothers. Like, Walter Hamada, I kind of feel like Walter Hamada is more of a puppet, in my opinion. Toby Emmerich has the real power at that studio, and because Walter Hamada is he's the president of DC Entertainment or DC Films, and but Toby Emmerich, he's the head guy. The thing is, and this is not to get anyone down, but the reality of these major studio heads is that unless there's a serious scandal, some type of sexual assault allegation, or how Sujihara was let go previously, unless there's something serious that there is no turning back, you can't do enough PR to correct the situation. These people are at these studios for a long time. Look at all the backlash that Kathleen Kennedy has been getting over the last number of years at Lucasfilm. From The Last Jedi backlash.
And they just keep doubling down with Kathleen Kennedy. She's another one. They're like,
I know. And just today on their investor call, the CEO of Disney backed and supported Kathleen Kennedy. And so it's just, I sympathize with the fans because, we would not. Well, Jason Kilar has been such the opposite of what Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada have been, and it's super refreshing as fans to kind of get that type of engagement. But don't be surprised if they're still around a year, 2 years from now. So
I just feel like if the movie is a success, and Igor says down here, you can't make this shit up. If this was a scripted film, everybody would pan it as unbelievable. That's true. If this was a film, you're like, wow, you're watching this movie and it's like, I cannot believe all the things that are happening here. Yeah, it's insane. I'm kind of thinking now that if this movie does as well as I believe it's going to do, that Toby and Walter may not be fired outright, but they'll probably be moved into different positions. I can't see Toby still being, because from what I hear, Toby wants to be head of HBO Max. He wants to run that division of Warner Media, and if that's
I'm sure he does.
I can't see that. I can't see him getting that position, considering how they've been going out of their way to sabotage something that's only going to make them money. I just don't see how you wanna cut off your nose to spite your face. I mean, the reality is you have a product here that so many people care about, that so many people want to see. I feel bad. I feel bad for Zach, because at this point it's like, well, listen, am I gonna keep dealing with this, cape nonsense for the rest of my career? It's like I can't escape it no matter what I do. If I was Zack Snyder, I'm sorry. If I was Zack Snyder, I would just move on after this movie. I really would. I would hang it up. I would hang it up and just be like, yeah, deuces. I left it on a massive cliffhanger. Thanks for the memories. I'm out of here. That's what I would do if I was Zach at this point. And the funny part is the fan base would support him and would follow him. There's nobody in the Snyder Cut movement that would be mad at Zack Snyder if he packed it up and moved on. But you know what? Zack is not like that. Zack is going to do the exact opposite. Zack is going to stick it to these Warner Brothers people. That's why he's ending this movie on a massive cliffhanger, because he wants us to continue to fight for the Snyderverse. So he's going to continue to pump us all up and get us all going, keep us all going, so that he can finish his arc. Because I believe he's got his plan, and he knows what he wants to do for these last 2 Justice League movies, and he just wants to finish off his arc. And then when he's done with his arc, he'll work on some other projects. But if Zack has his way, he's going to get these other 2 movies in. If for no other reason, he's going to spite WB, and he's going to make us fans who love the Snyderverse happy. So that's what that's what I'm thinking. Cause I'm like, if it were me at this point, I'd be like, enough is enough, especially after the movie leaked. I'd be like, you guys have absolutely no shame whatsoever. You guys will do anything to disparage me, to hurt whatever I'm trying to do here, no matter how good it's going to be for your company, no matter what kind of revenue you're going to see, you're still going to go out of your way to hurt. You're hurting me. You want to hurt your fan base. I mean, it's crazy to me. I feel like I'm out of here. This is the worst place in the world to work.
All right. So here's some things to consider. Okay. These are some things that you got to think about too, because the journey to get to this point has been long, and it's been longer for some who've been in the movement for years. Right. And the movement is only grown as more people become aware of what the Snyder Cut is. Right?
Exactly.
And think about the constant and incessant clamor from fans online, for the Snyder Cut, when most of us, we knew that it existed, but the possibility of it being released oftentimes felt so slim. But the fact that there was so much fan support for it, then think about how much fan support there will be to continue it after this. It's going to be off the charts. Warner Brothers has not seen anything yet, so if they think it's been bad before, get ready.
Oh yeah, especially if the rumors of the kind of cliffhanger. I don't know if you guys heard the rumors of what the actual cliffhanger ending is, but here's the thing. I'm not going to say it, but if this cliffhanger ending happens, it's going to be so insane, just like you said, Andre. It's going to be off the charts. They haven't seen anything yet. People are going to be campaigning for it on levels that Warner Brothers has never seen. And Sesame Street is not going to be safe, because people are going to be tweeting about the Snyderverse and Sesame Street threads all over the place. It's going to be nuts. Listen, I know, and that's why I am hoping against hope that the cliffhanger ending that I know about is the cliffhanger ending we're getting. I really hope it ends like that, because if it does, that's exactly what it'll be. And I will be 100% motivated to continue fighting at that point, because that they are not going to be able to leave it like that. So Zack is backing them into a corner purposefully. He's like, yeah, I could have tied it all up into a little bow here if I knew I wasn't coming back. I could have did anything, but I decided to do what I wanted to do, because I want to continue my arc, and these people deserve my arc. And you know what? Now, I just can't think of a better ending to a movie. I sure hope that this is what we get. And
I don't know if you guys listened to the Grace Randolph interview that she just released this morning with Zack, right? Yeah. So, and they were talking about the storyboards that were at the AT&T exhibit just this past weekend. Yeah. And there's the big, a big online controversy with like, oh, these are spoilers. Well, I mean, yes and no, but I mean, Zack has been kind of spoiling these movies for years now. He's been telling us so much, like Martian Manhunter. We knew that years ago that this was going to be in the movie, right? But that was calculated, and it getting released was calculated, because I don't know if you guys were maybe kind of as into movies like back then, but like when the Lord of the Rings was made with Peter Jackson, there was a concerted effort by the studio to make that trilogy into 2 movies. And and if we look back at that now, we're like, well, I mean, how could they ever do that? Well, the studio wanted to. They didn't have as much confidence in Peter Jackson and what he was trying to do, and so but what Peter Jackson did is he leaked the script. The script was leaked online, and everybody assumes it was Peter Jackson. And when everybody saw, holy crap, this is incredible. We need 3 movies. They shouldn't be 2. There was so much, uproar from fans that the studio approved 3 movies. And so him having those storyboards there, because he could have just put costumes. He could have just done pictures, but he specifically put the storyboards there. He even
told Grace Randolph that he's updated the storyboards.
And he has new ones
with the new direction he plans to go. He's not so that's old information. That's what he was going to do, but now he knows what he will do if he's allowed to continue, which he is going to be allowed to continue, because we have to think about it. What is going to be the metric of success? If Wonder Woman 84, as dreadful of a movie as it did well enough on HBO Max to get a sequel greenlit within a day, what do you guys think that the Snyder Cut is going to do? People are freaking out over this little leak that they had yesterday, and we none of us have been able to stop talking about it. It's all over the internet. The spoilers are on Twitter. People are cracking down, trying to stop those people from leaking those videos that Carlos watched. And it's just like
I didn't watch a lot. It wasn't a lot.
No, it's only a couple. I know. I've seen them on Twitter. I tried to avoid them, but there's certain people who speak Spanish that, if you click on their thing, it seems like they're the ones that keep, sharing these. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Like, why do you keep sharing it? I don't want to see this. This is not something and it's always the same ones too. It's the ones from the nightmare sequence. And then there's another one. There's a Steppenwolf one. And then there's one with Lois Lane and Martha Kent. Those are the ones that are out there. And if you see them, they are spoilers, but they're not a big deal. They're nothing that we didn't already know. But
I still don't want to see them.
It still sucks that that they got leaked.
Yeah, just thinking about it, like when you said the uproar coming after this movie, it's going to be compounded like tenfold, because if we had enough voices and enough passion in our fandom to make this movie happen, with just us, people that are, it's kind of niche, that we have the general interest already in the Snyderverse, and now that this is being like kind of like an event of mythic proportions coming to the streaming service, and going to attract the people that don't actively, because I don't, in all honesty, I don't think the leaks is going to hinder this movie.
Oh, not at all. No. Even if the movie gets released on a torrent site and people are able to watch it well before the 18th, you're still not going to hinder nothing. People are going to watch this movie like crazy. People are going to be talking about this movie like crazy. This movie has become an entity. It's taken on a life of its own. It's beyond, it's bigger than all of us. It's bigger than Snyder ever intended it to be. And quite frankly, it's more Warner Brothers' fault than anybody else's.
It's 100% their fault.
I feel like if they were smart, they would have just allowed Zack to do his thing, and they would be done with the Snyderverse by now if they hated it so much. But by doing this, all they've done is prolong the inevitable, because now they're going to have to. It's like if people are saying, "Oh, but the Snyder Cut was already filmed, so that's why you were eventually able to get it. But any future movies have not been filmed yet, so those are going to be harder to get." Not as hard as you think. Listen, we flew banners over. We flew banners over Warner Brothers. We put big billboards up in Times Square. You think that there won't be? You don't think that there'll be more? You don't think Warner Brothers? If Warner Brothers hated the campaign to release the Snyder Cut, they would have to be stupid not to greenlit light sequels after we get what we're going to get, because the reality is it's never going to stop until Zack Snyder gets his arc completed.
All right, I've got a little theory for you guys. All right, you tell me what you think about this, because I started really thinking about what it meant for Zack to convince Ben Affleck to get back in the cape and cowl, for additional photography, but then to get Jared Leto and all these other actors back in the studio to film. All right, we already know from history and from recent articles that have come out that basically Zack, during the filming of Justice League, was filming 2 movies. Yep. He was doing his movie, and then he would film what the studio had mandated. So all the funny jokes and whatever else that Jeff Johns and John Berg wanted to put in the movie, right? So if Zack had the genius to know, well, I'm going to continue to do what I want to do, and I'll let the studio, I'll show them that I'm filming the stuff you want to film, but I'm going to film the stuff that I want to film as well. I have this sneaky suspicion that when Zack brought in Jared Leto and Ben Affleck and Joe Manganiello and Amber Heard, I think even Ray Fisher came back into the studio to do additional photography, right?
I think the only person who didn't come back was Cavill.
Right. Well, and the additional photography that was done was for the nightmare scenario, right? Yeah. Of after Darkseid has taken over the world. Don't you think that Zack could have said, "Hey, we're going to shoot 5 minutes. I'm just going to put together 5 minutes of Justice League 2 since I have you guys here." And I could say I've basically already started filming for Justice League 2. I just think that Zack is so genius that I would not put it past him that he did film these additional scenes that will be in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, but that he also started filming for Justice League 2, since we already know a ton of Justice League 2 is going to take place in the nightmare scenario.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's almost the whole movie that is the night in the nightmare. The movie takes place in the nightmare world. Yeah.
I thought at least with the storyboards of the old plan that the nightmare took more of a place between 2 and 3. Not that's the old storyboards, but I still think the general format would be the same. But I don't put anything past Zack.
I think some of the things that would change. I think what would change from what they originally planned to what would happen is and Zack already said they didn't get to film, Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane getting together, Bruce falling in love with Lois. And so I think that is what might change, but the nightmare scenario, I don't think that would change. I think that's going to be prominent. So I don't know. That's just my theory. That's my theory.
Yeah, well, if hey, if the leaks are any indication, I would love to see an entire movie in the nightmare scenario. Yeah. So that's the truth. I'm pumped.
Yeah, we're getting some breadcrumbs, like even now in official material. Like if the Darkseid teaser is official material, we're getting some breadcrumbs that there is so much more to come that is going to be left open in this in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like we saw, in the Darkseid teaser, we saw Superman looking distraught, with the gray hand on his shoulder, and it's like, what could that mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I found it interesting that his face looked oddly like Man of Steel.
Now, do you guys think that Superman is going to essentially submit to the anti-life equation by the end of this film? I think he is. I didn't want to say it. I was trying to be a little boy, but I think that is a possibility. Whether it be either in vision form, kind of like a premonition, or in
this is actually happening.
I don't know. That scene, like you mentioned in official material, where you see Darkseid's hand on Superman's shoulder, to me was an indication of like Darkseid, attaboy, you can join me, and together we can rule the galaxy. Listen, I was getting those vibes, man. I'm getting, and I don't know about you guys, but seeing all these teasers and all this material, I'm getting serious Empire Strikes Back vibes from this film.
Yep.
I mean, I just think that the movie, and then when Zach said it's going to end on a massive cliffhanger and all the rumors surrounding what that actually is, I really feel like if that's the case, this literally is going to be DC Comics Empire Strikes Back. I mean, totally.
Yeah, well, at least we know from the storyboards that Justice League 2 was the intention, that the League was going to lose. Yeah, they were going to be defeated. The League would be broken up. So that was always the intention. But again, like Carlos said, things have changed. So yeah, and Zach has said, he's reiterated over and over, as much as the stuff that he has spoiled over the years, he said, we've seen nothing yet. So I think Zach has been very calculated with what he has shared with us and what he has kept secret.
I agree. I think even if you're not, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the leaks, where there's people that are they're not really fans and they're speaking positively about what they've seen.
Yeah,
and I think that's the reverse of what Warner Brothers was hoping for. Warner Brothers wanted people to talk about it being crap or being garbage, or there's nothing to see here, or it's just like the other movie.
Yeah. Like they were saying, like what they saw, it was the best DC movie they've ever seen. And I didn't
even see all of it. They only
didn't see all of it.
An hour and a half.
Yeah,
of a 4-hour film.
And Kevin in Kevin Smith's show, I think it's Fat Man Beyond, where he was like, he said that he saw it, and he didn't say anything, but he had a smile from ear to ear. So that's just telling you something right there. So
and Igor makes a wonderful comment here. He says, "Wonder how many more clicks Tom and Jerry got yesterday." Yeah, because I don't know about you guys. I kept going back to Tom and Jerry to see if they were gonna screw it up again. I'm like, oh man, let me see.
No, don't do that, man. You're gonna get a Tom and Jerry sequel now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Tom and Jerry's like benefiting from the Snyder Cut hype. What about you, Johnny? Did you watch Tom and Jerry yesterday?
No, I did not. But what you guys were talking about with the anti-life equation stuff, doesn't that all kind of tie back to the dream sequence from BVS, what the Flash showed Batman anyways?
Yeah.
So that's always been hinted at this entire time, that we were going to go to this area. The Flash even showed up all crackhead looking and warned Batman about it. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good likelihood that I just want to see the New Gods. You know what I mean? Like, I know you guys aren't. I know Zod particularly isn't into the New Gods movie, but I'm actually pretty.
But I'm excited for what we're gonna get out of here, because Darkseid. Did you see the most recent Darkseid trailer, Johnny?
No, I after a while I stopped watching trailers because I want to see the films, you know what I mean, and watch them whole. Kind of like what Zever said a couple weeks ago. Like it kind of spoils it when you know all the good parts before you go and sit down and watch it. So yeah, after the first couple trailers, I stopped watching them.
Okay, well, yeah, you're probably smart, but it was nice to see Darkseid in the way that we see him, dude. It's incredible.
There's no way in hell that the Ava DuVernay New Gods movie is ever going to get made, man. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe not that one, but I hope one does, because they're great characters.
Yeah, no, it'd be like around the time another Justice League movie got made, that doesn't include Henry Cavill or Ben Affleck. But what I mean is that when fans see the New Gods world that Zach has created with Darkseid and even Granny Goodness, fans are not going to want the junk that Ava DuVernay was going to put out. I'm telling you, like I'm not here to do a crap fest on Ava DuVernay. I don't think she's a good filmmaker at all. So the fact that we get to see Zach's version of Darkseid first, that's promising.
Right, and because Ava was salty about the fact that this is coming out too, because she wanted to be the first person to bring out whatever her version of Darkseid was going to be, and this
tough luck.
like full transparency, like I haven't heard of her before like the news announcement that she was writing scripts for the New Gods. Like, well, what else has she been a part of?
a little movie called A Wrinkle in Time that everybody was saying was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it was just awful.
It's good if you like trash. I mean, it's like Jupiter Ascending fun. It's not a good movie, but it's very enjoyable to watch when you're high.
Gosh, it's one of the worst movies with a Disney logo on it in the last 20 years, easily. I mean, it is trash. It is. Johnny, you were right. It's trash. It's terrible.
I mean, like, I only watched the trailer for it, but at least in my mind, the way I kind of thought of it was it kind of looks like a movie that a billionaire would make if their child asks for them to make a movie.
Like a Toy Pony movie, basically. Instead of getting her a Toy Pony, you made her a terrible movie like A Wrinkle in Time. That's awesome.
I don't know. It just has it just has a look to it. Like I would say the same thing with like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and like I guess the spiritual sequel, We Can Be Heroes. So like, I don't know. It just has a feel to it that I just feel like, oh man, did a kid just blackmail their father to make this? But that's just my opinion.
It's like it was. Ava is good sticking to small little story driven indie films. She's not the kind of filmmaker that, in my opinion, can handle a big superhero, franchise type movie. Like, I was scared to death when she was announced for New Gods. To tell you the truth, it was like saying, wait a minute, why are you giving her New Gods? You might as well have given the movie to Tyler Perry at this point.
All right, so we're going to turn this into an Ava DuVernay crap fest, because Ava DuVernay is one of the most woke Hollywood elitists in the business. The stuff that she is going to put out is going to be full woke. So if you are interested in good, honest, authentic storytelling, don't watch her movies, because those are not. I just hope so bad that people are so enthralled with Darkseid and Zack Snyder's Justice League, but there's zero chance that her movie is going to get made. It will be terrible if it does.
Well, with most DC movies, I never really count on them to be. They shuffle around their schedule so much and get new directors. And I mean, how long has The Rock been cast to play Black Adam? I think he got cast before the rest of the Justice League. That poor son of a bitch still hasn't gotten a movie. He's still waiting. Still.
Yeah.
They're not even moving forward with that yet. So, I mean, I don't think that her movie will get made, but I do just want to see. I like the New Gods a lot. I like Jack Kirby.
I mean, if they announce Zack Snyder's New Gods, I'm down.
Eli Roth.
I want to see Miracle Man. I want to see everybody. I really do. I'm excited. I want to see High Father. I'm super excited, for Granny Goodness, and for we'll probably get more of the dynamic between Steppenwolf. This movie looks like we're gonna actually get that dynamic between Steppenwolf and Darkseid. It's gonna be incredible.
Do you think the reception with the New Gods portrayed in this movie could like be incorporated into this new altered, like evolved script where they would incorporate more of that? Because like that would be amazing, because I could see right now if both Justice League 2 and 3 are released, we're going to be comparing, like, of course we're already doing it now with comparing Darkseid and Thanos, you know what I mean? And then you start comparing the New Gods to the rest of the Black Order. What are they? The Black Order just paper thin,
What a time! What a time to be alive! What a time to be a fan. Where we've got live action versions of both Jack Kirby characters. We've got Darkseid and Thanos. I mean, what a time to be alive! That's insane, man.
Yeah, but just that like relationship that they play against with like Thanos and like his Black Order, like it feels so shallow, and it was only touched upon in Infinity War, and then in all the trailer material that we see right now with Desaad and Steppenwolf and Darkseid. That like,
and we even saw Granny Goodness.
Yeah, so I
mean
think
that to me right there is an attention to detail. I mean, because if Zach wanted to, he could have just had the dynamic be between Darkseid and Steppenwolf, but he's including everybody. And you know what I want? I'm waiting for the big Berta character reveal, because when we see her, that's going to be another slap in the face to Ava DuVernay, because she was saying that she was building her movie around Big Berta. That Big Berta was going to be the main character. That's what she and Tom King were talking about.
Zach
so
said, no,
basically, Big Berta was going to make Darkseid her little lackey, I guess. But that's not happening here. This Darkseid, I don't. If anybody that still hasn't seen the Darkseid trailer, once you see that trailer, you know Darkseid means business, and there should be no doubt. Anybody on the fence about this movie thinking that Darkseid isn't going to be portrayed correctly, once you see that trailer, you should be fully on board if you were ever a fan of the character of Darkseid.
You know,
it's insane.
People given their opinions about how Darkseid's being portrayed in this film. And it's like, their opinions, and you could hold your opinions. There's not a problem with that. But saying that like this character is not true to what the comic book is it's
oh, I love that. There's some people doing that, Carlos.
It's lunacy. Like Darkseid is a god from another dimension, okay, that is hellbent on absorbing and ruling over all of existence. What how is this portrayed wrongly? You know what I mean?
And he looks exactly like how he's depicted in the comic books. He's a comic book character come to life. Like, I actually saw a criticism video where a person who shall not be named actually said,
Darkseid looks small.
When has Darkseid wore armor? I've never seen Darkseid wear armor.
Oh my god.
I've never seen Darkseid. When does Darkseid wear armor? It's like, well, you're right. Darkseid never wears armor except when he does.
Which is always.
So let's just put it that way, because the guy, I mean, literally, that was his complaint. Well, Darkseid doesn't wear armor. That's not Darkseid. What? Really? Yeah. And you claim to be a DC Comics fan?
So I've got a question for you guys. I'm curious because I've been thinking a lot about this too. Because we're obviously, we're going to continue to tweet #restore the Snyderverse. We want to see the continuation of this story. What amount of Zack Snyder's DC movies would satisfy you to stop beating the drum of Snyderverse, right? So what movies need to get greenlit for us as a fandom to say, okay, Warner Brothers, you have redeemed yourselves. You've released the movies we wanted. What movies are those? Is it just the Justice League movies?
I got 3 words. 3 words. All right.
All right.
All of them. No.
Okay, so which do those include?
No, it's just Justice League 2 and 3. I mean, I would like, in a perfect world, that'd be, say, get the original director from The Flash and the Cyborg movie and the tie-in Green Lantern Corps and I guess retcon the Aquaman movie. I mean, there's a lot of holes in that. So no, I don't want, and I don't want to ask too much of Zach, because Zach, he's his own man and he wants to move on to other things, Fountainhead, the continuation of Army of the Dead, and that whole series. So I would for me at least I just say Justice League 2 and 3, and then move on from there. That was actually a question that I had for myself and also for other people. It was like, after this, what should the DC EU do? You know what I mean?
Right.
After Justice League 2 and 3, because this is like, it kind of it gets me a little sad, because this is actually like, this is an endgame level event that's going on, and it's the first outing of the DC universe of the Justice League, the first amalgamation of the characters. So it kind of feels like, how much higher can we go? Like, does the Justice League have to fight like the anti-monitor and like just constantly fighting universal level threats, or like you can't really go back and be like, oh, now we're just gonna fight a ragtag band of supervillains, or we're just gonna fight Brainiac, So
all of this should have been prolonged. I mean, the original slate had the Flash movie come out in 2018. Yeah. Cyborg was supposed to come out last year, and the reality is those movies, I think we're more likely to see Justice League 2 than we are the original Flash movie or Cyborg, with everything going on with Ray Fisher. But what about you guys? Zod, Johnny, I'm curious, like what movies would satisfy you, to be like, okay, we restored the Snyderverse.
I'm at Justice League 2 and 3, and David Ayer's Suicide Squad, and I'm done.
That's a good one to mention. David Ayer's Suicide Squad.
For me, I want Suicide Squad, and I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan, but never really loved his Superman films. I want to see him move on. I'm really excited for Army of the Dead. That's where all my love and compassion for his work stands right now. The Snyder Cut, I'm happy for you guys. I mean, you're really excited for it. I'm going to watch it. I'll probably enjoy it, but it doesn't got me by the nut hairs like you guys do. And I never particularly cared for his take personally. So yeah, I would just be fine to see him go and make Zack Snyder films again, and get past, him having to work with other people's characters, other people's shit, because the man's a creator. He's a, like you said earlier, he's kind of a genius, man. I don't care what people try to tell me. Sucker Punch is a fucking art film. It's beautiful, and I want to see him do that again, to tell you the truth. That's where I sit with him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. It's totally fair. I think my answers would be, I'd probably add the Batfleck film. I think there's too much good stuff.
I feel like that's a given. I feel like that's something that we're going to get regardless of if the Snyderverse continues.
Could you imagine, man, just Ben Affleck and Joe Manganiello and freaking Batman and Deathstroke, like that would have been off the charts, man. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, one thing with me is that, like, I mean, this is probably me being very superficial, and I probably shouldn't think this way, but part of me is just like, we're kind of past that time period where Ben Affleck was shredded, because like during the production of BVS and right after BVS, this man looked like an absolute beefcake. All right, and I wish it was kept up, because I mean, he's a lot thinner, and
Hey, well, it's not like Robert Pattinson is getting swole. The dude said he's not working out for the role.
Put him in the Shazam suit, man. Just put him in, paint the Shazam suit black, and that's Ben Affleck's new buff Batman costume.
I want to address this comment here by Chubby Teddy Master here to you guys. I'm apprehensive of the Flash movie from Andy Muschietti. What do you guys think? Are you guys a little apprehensive about it too, given what we know about it at this point? Because I was sold when they announced that Ben Affleck was going to be a part of it. But now, as time goes on and we're learning more and more and more, I'm really worried about it. Doesn't it have the same writer as Birds of Prey and something else? And it's just I'm worried about it. I really am.
No, I'm like, for me, I'm very apprehensive. I mean, I'm glad that Ben Affleck is back as Batman, and I like how Muschietti justified it by saying we're using Ezra Miller's Flash from the previously established films, and in that timeline that he's in, his Batman is Ben Affleck's Batman. Makes total sense to me. But what I feel like they're going to do is they're going to use that excuse and the Flash's shenanigans through the multiverse to justify retconning things, and that is just gonna get me so tilted. I mean,
absolutely. That's the entire reason why they're doing it. That's the only reason why they're doing it.
So
I mean,
and there's no mystery behind that one at all.
And it's just it's like the retconning like Wonder Woman 84 to times 10. You know what I mean? And it's like that just really gets me pissed because like Prime would say that this is the MCU indoctrination speaking in me, but an interconnected universe of films is something very, very important to have, at least when you're trying to build this multi-layered interweaving story between many diverse characters. You know what I mean? So having that connective tissue between movies and that precedent that's set, everything from in the future is respecting everything from the past. You know what I mean? So just the blatant disregard that Wonder Woman 84 had to the Wonder Woman film and to BVS, and the blatant disregard that the Flash film was going to have to everything prior. It's just a huge turnoff, and I don't think there's any. I think the timeline is irreparably damaged, and the way people perceive things. You know what I mean? So
I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you, man. Just because that is the reason why these DC movies are going to continue to struggle. The only Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, it did well. One, because it was a great movie, but also because it was its own thing. We weren't worried about it. We knew this is a different Joker. This is a different story. But they're still continuing to try to make movies based off of Zack Snyder's DCEU without Zack Snyder and without Batman and Superman.
Right.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
At this point, they might as well not even bother with an Ezra Miller Flash if they're not going to announce either a Zack Snyder Justice League 2 or a Justice League 2 with that cast coming back, because they don't even know if Cavill's going to be back to be Superman in the future. Man. There's a lot of uncertainty. So why really should you guys as fans really care about this character that we only got to see for maybe 30 minutes in total of his film expenditure as the character in the two films. So it's like, it's completely up in the air, and I don't understand why they're bothering at this point. I mean, I get that they're going to retcon it and maybe even recast Ezra Miller for part 2. He might just show up as a different Flash at the end of the movie. I wouldn't put it past these jokers at this point, but they either need to step up and let Zack make Justice League 2 with his people, or get his people back and make another Justice League 2 with them, because you can't just play around with either recast everybody or get everybody back. That's the only way you can do it.
That's the catch-22 that they're in, because they know that they don't want to recast Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They don't want to recast Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but they're and then based off of, we'll see how this Flash movie does, because if this Flash movie does well, then Ezra Miller will probably be around for the foreseeable future. But I'm with you guys too. I think it's all just so disingenuous. It's like, why don't you guys just let Zack do his thing and see how all that plays out, and then just continue doing your movies, whatever else you want to do, because Zack does leave it open. Even if you look at the original spoilers that he has for his 2 and 3 before the he made some adjustments, the way he has it laid out for us, there's plenty of room to do exactly that, to give you kind of like a rebirth type storyline afterwards. You can definitely do that. Like he's not like, Zack isn't being stingy and saying, okay, after I get done with my movies, nobody can do anything else. He's setting it up, setting the table so that you can continue on and tell all these other stories that Zack himself doesn't want to work on. Because Zack doesn't want to be doing DC movies for the rest of his life. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's like Johnny said, he's a filmmaker. He's an artist. I mean,
that was the original plan from the beginning, from 2012. I mean, that was always the plan. And
it's like Zack was treating it, and I always say this to people, that like to say that, they like to call him Hack Snyder and all this stuff. And I say, listen, Zack was treating this like a comic book run. He's doing his, doing his little arc, and he's moving on and going to allow other people to come in and tell their arcs. It's that simple. He's building it. He's building it in a way that, Christopher Nolan didn't care about anybody else. He just wanted to make his 3 movies, and he didn't care about world building or creating a universe for them to continue. But with Zack Snyder, he's building the DCEU, allowing them to branch off, and you'll be able to have the Black Adam. You can have Shazam. You can have all this stuff all within the confines of that. So I don't understand why WB is working so hard against a guy that literally is giving them the blueprint for the future once he's long gone. I mean, I just that's the thing I don't get. Like Henry Cavill, you think he wants to play Superman forever? It's like, listen, the guy isn't getting any younger, and if you keep 6 years here, 6 years here, it's like eventually it's like he's not going to look like Superman anymore. It's like,
I know. Like if Warner Brothers felt that they were behind the MCU back in 2015, 2016, they have only created they have only fallen further behind since. I mean, their decision to remove Zack Snyder has completely stunted every DC movie that they've done. I mean, and they were their best movie since Zack Snyder has exited the DCEU has been a Joker movie that has nothing to do with the DCEU. Like, and it was a movie that they weren't even confident. Well, I mean, they were selling the rights off to the movie. I mean, they were so stupid. They didn't
even get the majority of the profit from that movie.
And it became the highest grossing rated R movie of all time. I mean, how incompetent do these people need to be before AT&T wakes up and goes, "You guys are not fit for these."
You guys got to go.
I'm so frustrated, man. I'm so frustrated.
That's why we look at Andre, when we look at Hamada and we look at Emmerich, it's like these are guys who, particularly Emmerich, who has been there, who was there for the whole Justice League mess up, and was there for all this stuff. It's like he needs to be gone, because he's not doing you any favors. Your company you're just going to keep sinking. I mean, he's actively even now trying to sink the ship. So what are you going to do? Like, that's why I say when this movie blows up, it's essentially going to blow up in Warner Brothers' faces again, because they're doing everything in their power to sabotage it. And all that's doing is making more people want to see it. So I don't know. Predictions being what they are. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I'll give my best prediction, like the best kind of best way moving forward. I would say they greenlight JL 2 and 3, and then they have their current slate. So they have the Black Adam film, they have Shazam 2, they have all of that, and just the timelines have moved a little further. So within the old storyboards. We see that there was like a 5-year gap from the Nightmare, and then after the Nightmare was corrected, there was a bit of a gap, and then the whole DC universe is on full display against the war against Darkseid and stuff like that. So my thing is, I would think that Zack would have his encapsulated story, and just at the end of that film, at the end of Justice League 3, when it's like the end game moment when all the heroes are there, we incorporate the kind of Jeff Johns universe characters like Shazam. So you see the Shazam family, you see the Justice League, the Justice Society of America, and that they were there, but that's not what the Snyderverse was about. You know what I mean? So those are justified. Their films don't have any less weight to them. And then after that, a whole rebirth situation where it's just a total reboot of the entire universe, and start anew. And then that could be the clear visioned, looking forward, like actually well structured universe that they wanted in the first place.
Well, but the problem is, in order for them to get that well structured universe, they gotta have a guy at the top that has a plan.
And by then, I hope they find it.
And
You
that's
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Because they screwed up so much.
With Zack Snyder had a plan, and we see what they did to him. So I don't know about anybody else, but who would you bring in? Who would want that job, Andre?
I don't know. I would want that job. I want them to hire me.
To replicate what Zach's done and carry it on, I would say like maybe like Denis Villeneuve or Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name, the guy that's doing Dune, the guy that did Prisoners. He can do that really dark, gritty stuff. He's got a similar visual style. He's about the only guy I know that could probably step in and replace Zach and still do that style and that look, at least.
Yeah,
That's what
I mean, yeah, he's an incredible filmmaker, like one of the best. You know, my prediction on that is I think he's too smart to actually get
he wouldn't say
involved with the DC movies. You know, I just, man, I don't know. I unless it's someone who really doesn't. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
it's such a mess, man. It's such a mess.
Another thing that they really need before like they go to war with Apocalypse is a bigger roster of heroes. They are not going to fight Granny Goodness and all the characters that we talked about along with Darkseid with just the 5 characters we have in the DCU. They're going to at least need to introduce the Lantern. They're going to need Manhunter. They're going to need more than one Lantern. I mean, we're talking about some of the most hardcore, hardest villains that have ever been written. I mean, these people are indestructible. And we have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman going to fight them. Like, really?
Yeah, well, the storyboard's already revealed that Riddler was going to be introduced. Multiple, not just one lantern, but multiple lanterns were going to be introduced.
Yeah, like the entire core.
Yeah,
basically.
they need the whole core to fight Apocalypse. They really would.
Like all the kingdoms of Atlantis, all of the militaries of Earth. You know.
Okay.
So that like that's what they kind of all encompassed in that, and any hero joined along the way that was gonna be a part of the solo films. So I think the Jim Lee's art illustrations that came along with it, like it had like Blue Beetle in it, and it was awesome. Like I said, like that's the best case scenario, and then after that they have to do a reboot and have somebody. I mean, like I don't mind becoming a soulless robot for with pure devotion to the system, and just devoiding myself of all creative, any creative part of my body to be the leader of it. But I don't know. I don't see anybody taking up this role. And with Zack Snyder, it's too tough of an act to follow. You know, it wasn't meant to be followed. Like you can't follow what he did with. I mean, you can try, but I don't think you could really follow what he did with 300. I don't think you'd really follow what he did with Watchmen or Sucker Punch. I mean, like unless he does it himself. You know what I mean? So I don't think you could carry the torch, better than he did. So
we know this.
Yeah, you saw what happened to the sequel of 300. Man, that movie was not good.
So it's, I don't think it's meant to be followed. I think it's supposed to be like Zod said, it's its own issue, it's its own universe, and the spin-offs that have taken from that, like Shazam, like Black Adam, Justice Society of America, and all of that. They are equally credible and they're equally justifiable. So I just want them in that final battle, and then that's it. You cut it off, and if you make something new, and that's when you could have destruction. That's what I want. Like, and it doesn't have to be exactly like Marvel. You could have the different genres. You could have the different directors, the different visions. It'll be like, and like I said this before, and Johnny and Zod know that I want it to be like Grand Theft Auto, where you play Grand Theft Auto 5. So how there's individual characters and they're in the same world, but the camera zooms out when you switch between them, and it goes to the different part of the map, and it just zooms in on them, and then they have their own missions and their own encompassing story, but they still maintain that internal continuity, and eventually they meet sometimes, and they have greater problems to tackle. So you could still have your detective drama with Batman and the Gotham City Police Department. You could still have your zany multiverse travel story with the Flash. You could still have your, cosmic buddy cop movie with the Lanterns. You could still have everything, and it can be so diverse and so awesome. And just they screwed the pooch.
What they really need to learn how to do, and I hate to bring them up, but Disney is trying their damnedest to, but they're gonna have to try to unify their television and their films together, because there's a lot of these characters that are really neat and really interesting, but their films aren't going to fly. But people like them enough to where they could carry a TV show, and if they actually make it to where that like they're not going to show up in every film, but hey, man, that Blue Beetle and Booster Gold from TV, they're going to show up in the Justice League film. You know what I mean? That would be so cool to do that. And I don't understand why neither a big two realized that like it would be a lot better if since you're focusing on trying to build these universes, then actually build them so they fit together. I mean, I love the Doom Patrol. I don't think the Doom Patrol really needs to fit too much in with Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I wouldn't be hurt if they didn't throw winks and nods and, like cool little stuff for you fans in there so you guys would like it better. And maybe I could have the added bonus of thinking one day Cliff Steele might show up and hang out with Henry Cavill Superman. I mean, just think about that. Brendan Fraser as a robot, just like kind of punking on Superman. That'd be so hilarious, man. Like,
yeah, or just the consequences of what happens in that film, reverberate through the entire universe. You know what I mean? And
right, yeah, they're dealing with fallout from what happened with the alien invasion type thing. They kind of did that a little bit with the first season of Daredevil. They would talk about the thing that happened in New York, but they didn't really do nothing with it. Like
I hated how they always framed it. It's always like death and destruction raining from the sky, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's death and destruction raining from the sky, but like, come on, can you please say that it was aliens? And like Tony Stark literally being bigger than the president of the United, like more of a public figure than like Donald Trump or something. Can you at least say his name? You know what I mean? Like people having trading cards of Captain America, and and like actually a Norse god, probably Odinists, and now there's all these people who are following this Norse religion, because they actually have physical proof that a Norse god exists. Like all these little things that the greater films don't need to tackle, but that can be tackled in these smaller things. The way that Daredevil did it, it was poking at it. It was like trying to eat a steak with a toothpick. You know what I mean?
They didn't.
It was good. Like it was doing good, but it had to do more. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, these people,
really tie it together. You know what I mean? Give the people the feeling that maybe one day Matt Murdock might show up in an Avenger. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care if he does or not, but at least give the fans that want to see that shit a little hope.
And it's not like trying to, like, at least for me, it's not trying to be like gratuitous. It's like like Matt Murdock, he's gonna be with the Avengers, but it's like there's legal trouble happening in New York. Who is the best defense that we can get? And it just so happens that because this world has been affected by what Matt does in his solo outings in the Daredevil seasons, that he proven himself to be the best lawyer in New York. That's who we got to go for. Yeah, and it just ties in so well. That's the man.
But like DC, if they were able to get a hold of that and actually make some of their crappy TV shows tie to their films and like have a coherent, just complete universe on all the different media fibers that they can, streaming, TV, all that, and anybody who likes this show, that show, they're still connected to what the films are doing, and they can all be excited for it in their own little ways, because it all, but like they don't do it. You got the movie Superman, you got the TV show Superman, you got this Superman that's going to be on the DC Universe shows, and it's like, I get it. I like that the comics have several different Supermans. You could go, there's like 3 different Superman books out every month. But at the same time, when you're trying to build a universe that, people are supposed to coherently follow, it would be best if it all just worked together.
Yeah, there needs to be a central timeline, a central kind of universe which we follow, and then there could be Elseworlds. Because once everything is Elseworlds, then nothing matters. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. Once everything is Elseworlds, and when I keep on hearing like Syl and stuff, I love Syl. I love him so much. But when I hear him say multiverse, I'm like, yes, but what about the universe? You know what I mean? Like, I like the multiverse, but what about the universe?
Yeah.
And Andre, I wanted to get your thoughts here, because I know you had said you only wanted to be here for an hour, so I wasn't trying to hold you up, man. So I kind of wanted to get your final.
No,
thoughts
it's all
on
good.
All this
it's
here.
all good. Yeah, no, I've got a few more minutes I can hang out.
Okay, great.
So the fact that this is happening, the Snyder Cut, is incredible, absolutely incredible. I think so many of us at certain points had probably felt like it's not going to happen. You know, as positive and as optimistic as we were trying to stay, you know, oh, Koj, what's up, dude? That's a great comment, man. Yeah, I just saw your comment. That it's true. That is
It's a cop out, is what it is.
It
is a cop out
for movies. For to introduce that into movies, it just means we have bad writers and we wrote ourselves into a corner and we don't know what else to do. That's what it means. But I think with what is happening right now, I think everybody should just feel incredible that the Snyder Cut is here. I think everybody should take some time to really just savor and enjoy it. You know, take the weekend, watch it. You know, watch it a dozen times. Just have fun, because the time will come. Where it's time to go back to war. It's time to take up arms again with our Snyder Cut brothers and sisters and fight for the rest of the Snyderverse.
Because, that's going to happen as of the 19th. That's going to start. You know that, right?
I know our battle cry has always been release the Snyder Cut. That's been the battle cry, from day one. Restore the Snyderverse is going to take the mantle, man. That's going to be our new banner. That's going to be our new battle cry, and everybody is going to be tweeting it. Restore the Snyderverse is going to be off the charts, man. Like, yeah, it's going to be crazy. I just hope, the thing is, man, I hope the actors, I hope Ben and Gal and Cavill, I hope they're up for it. I really do. Cause say what you will about Cavill, he's been so private and quiet about all this, and more power to him. That's fine. And I worry about Gal a lot. I get the sense that Gal almost prefers Patty's, vision of Wonder Woman over Zach's, and I think she still feels an immense gratitude to Zach for casting her, because she wouldn't be Wonder Woman without Zach. That's the reality. But I hope the actors are up for it, because if they are up for it, I think that just only improves our chances of getting JL 2 and 3. So, yeah, man. Restore the Snyderverse.
That's where we are. Yeah. That's where we are. I'm in agreement with you, man. I think we should all be happy that it's happened, and at least take that weekend to celebrate, if nothing else, before we get back on it and start going at WB when they post Sesame Street advertisements. I don't think it's going to be a pleasant thing for WB moving forward. I think what they need to realize is they need to green light the sequel immediately. They cannot, if they don't want the wrath of the Snyder Cut Army, they need to make sure that they green light the next movie, because
what about hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
What about Zack Snyder's Sesame Street, though? Like, you keep bringing that up, Zod, and it's got me interested, man. Like, I want to see that now.
I want to see that as well.
Zack Snyder's Tom and Jerry.
The reason I keep bringing Sesame Street up is because it's so funny, because there were people even tweeting "release the Snyder Cut" on Sesame Street. Things like screw Elmo, release the Snyder Cut. Like, whenever they would put up promos for new Sesame Street stuff coming out, and it would just be like, so Warner Brothers couldn't release anything without having people calling for the Snyder Cut to be released. And if they don't want to relive that, they don't want to go through that again, they need to make sure that I think as a fandom, I think we're kind of at that point where Warner Brothers knows what we can do. They know we can make things trend. They know we have the power to push it through, and they know that we're unrelentless and we're going to keep going and going and growing and growing. And so I think the Snyder Cut would have to flop horribly on HBO Max in order for there not to be something else greenlit immediately afterwards. I mean, I just can't see them. I just can't see how. And from what we've seen, I would have to say at this point, that's impossible. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way it can fail.
Hey, before I bounce, and I'm sorry I got to bounce early, guys. I wanted to ask you guys this. So I believe the Snyder Cut will drop on HBO Max March 18th at 12 a.m. Pacific time, right?
Mhm.
Is that so? That's 1 a.m. my time. Zod, 2 a.m. your time, right?
I'm central. Yeah, I'm central. So I think it'd be 2
Did you say 3 a.m., Carlos?
3 a.m. my time.
Okay, so I want to know when are you guys planning on watching it? Because
3
my
a.m.
plan is, dog, because my brother's coming over. We've taken work off. We're doing Man of Steel and BVS same day. We're going to be in our TV room like all day, and we're hitting play at 1 a.m. for the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, like yeah, I was thinking about that. I really do want to do I would like a watch party. Like, can't be public, of course, because but a private watch party. But it's up to people because
you already admitted to being a pirate, Carlos, at the beginning of the show. Come on,
not a pirate. I'm not a pirate. I'm someone who observes the piracy. Yeah. I'm a first mate. All right, I'm not a captain.
Yeah, I watched it from the lower deck. I swear, I'm just swampy.
Don't fail the 7 Seas. Watch this thing legitimately, people. If there's anything else you get from this show, definitely do that. Support the Snyder Cut when it comes out on HBO Max on the 18th, or wherever you are in the world, whatever platform it's being released to you. I know that Zack Snyder has been going out of his way to make it available day one for everyone all around the world. So I'm just hoping that that's the case. And on that note, I want to just ask you, Andre, where everybody can find you. Go ahead and plug yourself, because we are going to wrap this up early, because I got some stuff I got to do too. So,
hey, I appreciate that, and Zod, thanks for having me. Johnny, Carlos, pleasure meeting you guys. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah, check me out on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. So it's at AC_Hutchens, and if you want to talk movies, Snyder Cut, whatever, I'm game. So yeah, at AC_Hutchens on Twitter.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And I want to just thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here on the ZodWriter show tonight. I appreciate you so much. That's great. Johnny and Carlos, as always, I appreciate you gentlemen being here. This is wonderful. I'm here. We're here every week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on YouTube here on the ZodWriter show. And I look forward to being back next week, man. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. See you guys later.
Hashtag Alita Army for Kojay. He said it, and I agree with it.
Yes, Alita Army. Okay, cool. Pow, pow. Good night, everybody.
Peace. See you guys.